following is a brief meditation on saving yourself. And it starts with a story about a man on a mountain prays to God to help him. God sends a helicopter. Guy rejects it, saying, "No, I prayed to God to help me. God's going to save me, not a helicopter." Ends up dying, talks to God. God says, "What the heck, man? I sent you a helicopter." That's the punchline. Anyway, I was thinking about that story and how sometimes no help comes. And honestly, anyone who claims to be able to help you, to heal you, to make you enlightened, I kind of feel like that's a fraud. And I'll explain why. With another story. So I was talking to a friend who did work with psychedelic plant medicine with thousands of people over the course of decades. And I believe this friend was there when the following occurred. There was a woman who was screaming out to be saved. Laying after taking the medicine, she was on the mat screaming to be saved. And in a really bad place psychologically. And instead of comforting her and holding her, the maestra leaned over and said, "Save yourself." Which is not how you think somebody would respond to cries of "save me." So I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. And I've been thinking about that story as well with regard to the helicopter story and how sometimes you just gotta save yourself, maybe every time at the end of the day. And that leads me to my second little point here, which is that maybe if we stop struggling, maybe we've already been saved. What I mean by that is, in the Catholic faith, they say faith is a gift. You can't do something to earn faith. You don't like rack up points with God and then God, you cash it in with faith. That's not how it works. Faith is a gift. And I never really understood what that meant, to be honest. It felt like, honestly, you know what it felt like was, oh great, faith is a gift. I didn't get it. I got doubt. But that's how that story is really, that theology has played out in my life, at least from my vantage point. But I was thinking about that, and I was actually watching a video by David Dita, and in this little workshop he was likening our humanness to being a stained glass window. And he was saying you can swap out broken parts of the window, broken chunks, and that's called therapy. You can wipe down the window to make sure the light passes through perfectly, and that is called yoga. And lastly, you can throw out the window altogether when you realize you are the light, and that's called spiritual enlightenment. And he was saying that, like, you can't just like manufacture that. You can't just like follow a 12-step program, so to speak, and become spiritually enlightened. And that it's kind of a gift. And that kind of, I'm sure he had more to say that I don't remember, but I've been thinking about that a lot lately because it's kind of confusing. But it explains that weird religious dogma that I had learned about how faith is only a gift. That checks out with what David Dita was saying. So anyway, lately, and this is the point of the meditation, I've been playing with this idea of like the fact that I can only save myself. Only me. Nobody's coming to save me. And this is where I invite you into the brief meditation part. Because I'm going to slow down. I'm going to breathe. stop struggling for a second. I'm gonna stop wriggling around like a psychopath, like a fish frantically flapping around on a deck trying to get back into water. I'm gonna stop that, at least for the moment. I'm also gonna try to stop inventing new ways, like as if I'm in need of a brand new strategy or technique to access God. I'm gonna stop that for a second. I'm just gonna be here with myself. I'm gonna stop begging for faith. I'm gonna stop begging for confidence. I'm gonna stop begging. And I'm gonna be right here. And I'm gonna breathe. Whatever I need to know about the world, I can learn in my breath. And I'm gonna imagine myself alone in a beautiful cathedral. And this cathedral's safe, it's quiet, and I'm the only one. No one's coming in this cathedral. It's just me. No one's coming to save me. I'm gonna save myself.